Welcome to the October edition of Kentucky Farm Bureau Reports. You know, whether you look at farming through old eyes or young eyes, it has its challenges. Today we're going to look at 3 young farm families, though, that face those challenges every day. We're going to look at the 3 finalists in Kentucky Farm Bureau's Young Farm Family Competition. The 3 finalists have been selected for this year's Kentucky Farm Bureau's Outstanding Young Farm Family Competition. The contest, held annually, is open to farmers aged 35 and under. First, let's visit with Jonathan and Jessica Gaskins.
We're currently farming 500 acres, corn and soybeans. We chop about 110 or 15 acres each year for that for silage. For our cattle, we got 170 dairy cattle, 40 dry, and we're currently expanding our operation, building a barn to milk 170 more cows.
After our last baby was born, I got to leave the bank and come home and help on the farm full time. Of course, I do the paperwork, the payroll, the taxes, keeping up with all of that side of it, and then of course we have 2 kids, so I take care of them in the afternoons whenever they get home from school.
I get up at 3 in the morning and get to the barn. I usually start feeding, and when I get done feeding, I have to start milking the cows. It takes me about 3 hours to get done milking, and then by then I usually come home and eat breakfast and what else? Every day's different. Every day's different.
He's never home.
Farm Bureau, it's a lot of people would think it was just insurance, but to us it's a voice. It takes care of a lot of our problems that we face that on our level it's just hard to do anything about, and we can go and meet with other farmers and other people, and Farm Bureau, the Federation, they can take it to Frankfort, Washington, D.C., and really makes a difference.
I am most proud of him because he works so hard. He does everything that he can to take care of the cows. I mean, he's pretty much married to the barn. He's married to me too, but he is up there a lot. He's just such a hard worker, and he does, you know, anything he can for us, and I'm very proud of him.
Now let's visit with Shane and Mary Courtney.
We have a very diverse operation. We raise burley tobacco, corn, soybeans, vegetables, wholesale vegetables, and some beef cattle. The reason we farm, we both grew up on small farms. We wanted to give our children the opportunity to grow up and to experience the things we experienced, to learn work ethic, and to get to see a crop or an animal grow, and to learn the farm life.
These are mini sweet bell peppers. They're very small. We raise them in orange, yellow, and red. And the majority of this crop will end up going to Jefferson County Public Schools. There's national guidelines that regulate the amount of fruit and vegetables a child must have at lunchtime. And so we're fortunate enough to be able to provide them with a healthy vegetable.
I think there's a lot of farmers that are extremely successful without a college education. In our situation, I think it's proved very beneficial to both of us. The background in agriculture that we had growing up, and then the background in ag education and ag economics for us has really played a key role in our success here on our farm.
The Farm Bureau has provided a sense of continued education for both Shane and I. Being self-employed totally, in order to get that continued education, you have to reach out and get it. And through a lot of the young farmer programs, the state conventions, national conventions, a lot of the workshops, the networking it offers, it's been a real good program for us to be involved with. And I think that, you know, selfishly we've gained a lot from it, and we hope that through our involvement that the Federation is better because of our involvement too.
And finally, let's visit with Dustin and Tammy White.
We grow corn, soybeans, wheat, and we have several acres of hay and pasture and about 870 cows. Total farm is about 14,000 acres, just a little over. We have 11,300 acres of crops. Attended the University of Kentucky and came home and started farming in 2004. Majored in ag economics, and that sort of helped in some of the side of the farming operation that I am more involved in than others. It's changed a lot since we've come home. We've gained about 4,300 acres and several cows, and we've added different aspects and done more technology and auto shutoffs and variable rates and auto steer, and those aspects of our operation have changed a lot. They were basically unheard of when I first came home from school. I'd heard about them and didn't really know if that would apply to our operation, and I don't know what we do without it in some aspects now.
Farm Bureau does a lot legislatively to protect the farmers, and it's kind of the farmer's voice on a state level as well as a national level as issues come up. And that's really important to farmers everywhere. Farm Bureau also does a lot for schools and for the youth, and the programs that they offer for the kids. I know especially like the Ag in the Classroom, and those programs like that are something that I find really important in an elementary level, and try to attend the summer outings for teachers regionally. Those are good programs. So.
The winner and the two runner-ups will be announced at the Kentucky Farm Bureau annual meeting to be held in Louisville, December 4th through the 7th. Over 250 fourth graders had an opportunity to learn about agriculture and safety at the Greenup County Safety Day. Thanks to Kentucky Farm Bureau volunteer leaders, stations featuring agriculture awareness and safety issues were presented at the Greenup County Fairgrounds.
Even though we are a rural county, a very small number of these kids actually are involved in anything agriculture related. Most of them, the only thing they get agriculture is if they play Farmville on Facebook.
Students that have never grown up on a farm before, they're actually getting to see what takes place on the farm. Some students have never even seen a cow before. They think that food comes from just the grocery store. They don't really understand that you have to grow your own food or you have to feed the animals. And it's just a great opportunity to let them know where our food actually comes from and other workings that take place on the farm. I think it's wonderful. It's excellent support, and it's free, which is wonderful. And I just think it's great, and we've been coming here for years, and our students always look forward to it, and so do I.
Neighborhood House is a community center, nonprofit community center. We're serving the Portland neighborhood and surrounding areas. We have 4 core programs: the Child Development Center, youth programs for out of school time, senior adult programs, and then family services, which includes our Kids Cafe and our emergency food bank.
Did you ever wonder whatever happens to that very special and expensive Grand Champion country ham that's sold at the Kentucky Farm Bureau breakfast? Well, we decided to follow it this year to the donated recipient's Dare to Care.
We're on the site of our very first Kids Cafe. 20 years ago, Neighborhood House opened the cafe, and so here we are 20 years later celebrating what's been an incredible program.
The purpose was to make sure kids aren't going to bed hungry at night. So 20 years of making sure that opportunity is there for kids. Often in neighborhoods like ours, they may not have a variety in their meal. And so over the last 5 years, especially with Kids Cafe, we've been introducing more fresh foods and salads and things like that. Now with the community kitchen, they're getting new foods. Tonight with this big country ham and breakfast, so the kids are getting breakfast at dinner. They're gonna love that. That's something we wouldn't be able to do on our own. So it's a great splurge, a special thing for our kids.
We weren't sure if the kids were going to like this thing. Our chef did put it in a pineapple glaze, and I just did some informal interviews with our customers, and they're saying they love it.
We couldn't do it without the support of other groups and corporations. Having Farm Bureau behind this to bring the ham in, and then it brings in other resources and people so they get to know about Neighborhood House. It helps us do a better job of meeting even more needs in our community.
This is our annual meeting here for Courtney County, and we think it's important that we get everybody together. Feed them a good meal, tell them what's going on.
Early fall is always a time for annual meetings throughout the state, like this one in Courtney County, who had two very handsome guest speakers from the state office. Matt and I got the opportunity to give a sneak preview of Bluegrass and Backroads and share some stories about producing the Emmy Award-winning show.
Re-elect the president, the vice president, the board, basically, and everything. They get a copy of the resolutions that we send up to the resolutions committee, and they get to vote on that and see what we are sending up to them.
Now here's our calendar of coming events. The deadline for accepting county resolutions is October 15th. The Safety Health Award nomination form needs to be postmarked no later than October the 11th. The County Information Award nomination form needs to be postmarked no later than October the 18th. Well, that's it for this edition of Kentucky Farm Bureau Reports. We'll see you next time.